Yo, what is going on, guys? You got Hiker Toad here, bringing you guys week 2 of NPL Minors. And this week we are going up against Cloud Envy and his Jersey Weaviles. So definitely recommend you check him out down below. His link will be down below, of course. Really cool, that guy, really chill. He's been in the league for a while, so really cool. But yeah, just gonna head right into his team. He has the Megalopony Latias, Scizor, Tapu Bulu, Tentacruel, Excadrill, Sableye, Electros, Charizard, Porygon Z, Golem, and the Linky Tongue. So looking at his team, he has mainly based around that sort of Megalob Lottie, which are definitely the two biggest threats in this matchup, I feel. Then he has some really threatening mons as well, like Scizor and Bulu, then just some good, like, low tier support, and as well as some low tier threats like the Z Charizard and the Z Porygon Z. It's fun to say. Actually, it's not Z Porygon Z, but still fun to say. With that sort of normal spam with the Megalop. So yeah, basically going into this matchup, like I said, the two biggest threats seem to be Mega Lopunny and the Latias. So I really want to prep heavily for those two mainly, as stuff like Scizor and Tapu Bulu, which could be big threats to other teams, aren't as threatening to my draft because I have that Charizard Celesteela core, which really kind of shuts those two down. So looking at it, I feel like he might bring some of his lower tier mons or like bulk or offense. Like he might bring Eel, which isn't that low tier, but he might bring the Golem. I know he likes Lickitung a lot, and so I'm just gonna sort of go into the game plan here. Basically, it's to win with Zard or just break with Zard, and we'll kind of go from there. Or maybe win or break with the Terrakion. So basically, Charizard just wins at +1 if he doesn't have the Golem or if he isn't Scarfed Lati. So if I see the combination of those two, I'll probably assume that the Latias will not be Scarfed. So that's something to keep note of. So basically, just Blitz and Dragon Claw pretty much hit everything. Just have enough speed for the Porygon Z, and yeah, like I said, I do have the Terrakion as pretty much a backup sort of win con with the Rock Polish and Swords Dance. Dual Stab pretty much hit everything. Like, this thing's hard for him to switch into. Like, his best switch in is probably Latias, which if I can weaken that, then it's not the best switch in to this. Especially if I could like Thunder Wave it, get a Swords Dance up, then that's really good. So yeah, that's really something that I like here, the Tracheon. Chople is just for Lopunny. If I'm at like full health or whatever, I can check the Lopunny, and because that thing's a really big threat. And then also to like a random like Focus Blast from Charizard, I can also take that. So that's really something that I like a lot. So next up we have the Celesteela, just Subseed. Subseed's actually really good versus him because his main sort of Celesteela responses are the Electros and the Charizard. If he has the Electros and he's not leftovers, I can just Subseed him down until he's like weak enough for me to kill him with something else. And then the Charizard, I can just Seeds that and then go into an appropriate counter, because Charizard's a bit more tricky. Because like something like a Z Sunny Day set could be very threatening to my draft. So yeah, it's sort of Celestial set, just be annoying, EQ and Heavy Slam hit like the majority. Can't hit Scizor, but I'm not really worried about Scizor. I have the Charizard anyways, so yeah. Next up we have the Rotom, just defog and T-Wave. T-Wave is really important for the Latias. This could take any hit from the Latias, even a Specs Draco, I think. If not, it like barely dies or whatever, or maybe it might be a roll. But yeah, Thunder Wave's really nice for that, and just in general, because if I could do that, Thunder Wave that, the Terrakion and Charizard are really good. Also can neutralize a combined Latias, which is really threatening versus my team. Probably the most threatening set that like he could bring for any of his mods. So that's really something important to keep a note of, the defog, just because rocks are annoying. So yeah, pretty basic, just giving momentum into the Zard and track, so that's really nice there. So next up we have Yuxi, kind of necessary here, as I really need a good low putty sort of check. I say check even though this thing's really bulky, because this could get worn down by the Mega Lopunny and other mods, because like return is like 30 or whatever, but this is my main Mega Lopunny response. I can just get up rocks and I can U-turn on something like an Excadrill if he wants to try and spin, or just a Scizor to get momentum and use that to get a kill with Zard, so that's really nice, or Terrakion obviously. But yeah, that's something I really like in this matchup. Knockoff is just good for getting rid of items. So yeah, that's pretty much my Yuxi set. And so lastly, we have the old Persian with the U-turn foul play knockoff gunshot. Basically just max HP and then some speed for the Latias. This is my main Latias switch in. Basically if he's scarfed I can take hits with ease, and depending on how bulky he is, I can deal with a Combine variant with this set as well. If he's like Roost Combine because he's limited to 2 coverage moves, which obviously could still work with like Thunderbolt and then Dragon Pulse or Psychic, most likely Psychic due to how Whimsicott can kind of just come in on a Thunderbolting and Dragon Pulsing set. So yeah, it's something to keep in mind. So yeah, this can kind of check that and just get me some overall momentum. I have the sort of momentum core with these three into big threats like these two. That's sort of my game plan going into this. Nothing like too fancy. I feel like just doing that is good because I really like my matchup here. So yeah, that's pretty much all for the builder. Pretty short builder. Getting this out kind of late. So yeah, it's gonna be all, and I'll be back for the battle. Yo, what is going on, guys? And we are back versus our game against Cloud Envy, coach of the Jersey Weaviles. So in case you didn't look at the builder, we just have a DD to attack Charizard X, really good breaker against his team. The worst comp, it does really well unless he has the combination of Golem plus Latias, then we have to be a bit more careful, and that is something that he didn't bring, so we have to be careful with that. We have some Seed Seal, which is really nice, especially since he did not bring a Steel Resist to this game with Heavy Slam and Earthquake. We have Terrakion, which is a backup Wincon with Dual Dance and Dual Stab, really good against his team, hits his team really hard for the most part. We have just Pivot Rotom Wash with Defog and T-Wave for the Lottie, really nice, just giving us momentum. We have our Mega Lot Pivot with Yuxi with U-Turn, Knock, and just Rock's overall utility. Then we have our Assault Vested Persian to help check the Latias in case he's like scarfed or wherever, and it can deal with certain variants of Combine depending on how bulky he is. So with that out of the way, we're going to see what he brought, as he has the Golem, Lickitung, Megalopony, the Porygon Z, the Latias, and the Sableye. So looking at that, he, like I said, he has no Seal Resist, didn't bring the Scizor or Bulu, and so like, and Terrakion is good against 4 out of 6 of his mons, so that's something that's really nice. And Charizard can do really well as well, depending on how bulky his Golem is. So just leading right up into it, I'm going to lead off with my Yuxi to see if I can get up some rocks. And also he led with his Mega Lopunny last game, so potentially if he wanted to do that again. Also I wanted to switch things up, so he led with the Latias. So I'm just going to go hard into Persian because it's my immediate response to this. And I also didn't want him to go for like a Specs Draco, as that would have done a lot to my Yuxi, and I really need it for Mega Lopunny. So he's just going to Combine turn 1 right away, as I'm going to knock off, and he's going to reveal to be really bulky, as knockoff does like, it did like upwards of like 50% to like if he's like no bulk whatsoever. So I'm thinking that he's definitely like a lot of bulk. However, he's going to go for the Thunderbolt, and that reveals that he's like near max special attack. So he might be potentially like max special attack, maybe like max defense, like bold or something. So he might actually potentially be no speed. So that's something to keep in mind here, as I don't really have good checks to this set. So if he's no speed, then that's something I really need to be aware of, so I can potentially just outspeed him with my Zard or my Terrakion. So I'm just going to try and pressure him a bit here, see what he wants to do. He's just going to recover all that. So I'm trying to force him to kind of reveal what his moves are. So I'm just going to U-turn out and out into my Rotom, as I don't want to risk him being like speedy or like enough speed for Zard and just kind of interact and kind of just 6-0ing me right here. So I'm just going to go into this. I can take any hit. Rotom isn't that important, so I'm just going to go for the Thunder Wave here. Thankfully I connect. He may have the heal with the Lickitung in the back, but that will be dealt with later if he does have with that. For now, I just kind of need to neutralize this and try and not let it set up again later if that is the case. So I'm just going to sack off the one Persian right here. I don't really need it. I could have went Zard there, but that would have been just too risky of a play, I think. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and sack my Alolan Persian off. Let's get the T-Bolt. Just going to try weaken it even more, as it's going to go down. I'm going to go to my Charizard to revenge this, as he is just going to go and sack this off. So that's really nice. Latias is gone. I think that was the biggest threat on his team. So it's really, really cool there, as he's going to try and revenge me with the Alone Golem, not Alone that is regular Golem, but we are going to sack off the Rotom. Basically, I was scouting to see kind of what his set was. He needed to be like max attack adamant to Okobi, so it's kind of like he's adamant like max attack with like max HP. So it's like get hit off. If I get a hit off with Zardan, that's really big because I could probably Oko him at +1 if he takes a Dragon Claw. And Charizard's looking really good here. And also, if you went for the rocks, I could just defog. So didn't really see anything wrong with that. Just sacking the Rotom, and now I can go with Celesteela as I'm at full health. As he's going to go into the Sableye, I'm going to sub up, and it's time to have some fun with the sub seed, as he does not reveal the taunt, so he might not have it. So yeah, he's going to just get all that HP back, and I'm just going to heavy slam as he goes hard into the Porygon Z, as that does a clean 50%. So we can just kill it off next turn. I don't care what he does. I'm just going to kill him off as he Thunderbolts to break my sub. So he's going to do that. As he goes back into the Sableye, I don't want to get Will-O-Wisp, as I want to try and keep this thing healthy, and I don't want my Heavy Slam's weakened, so I'm just going to go out into my Uxie to sack it, to just kind of use it as burn fodder, as I could just go for the knockoff here, as I want to weaken this thing and get rid of its leftovers, as he actually goes into the Lickitung, gives me that thing's Violate, so that's really, really nice there. So I'm just going to go for my rocks right here, as they're pretty free, as he's going to go for the Earthquake predicted by Chirac or Charizard, and so I'm just going to U-turn out now, as he's just going to stay in, and he's going to Earthquake again, so he's going to catch me there, but thankfully I do have the roost, so I can kind of just roost off a bit, and now I can just fire off a Dragon Claw, as his Violet is knocked off, so I can just start firing off hits at this thing, so it's pretty free. So yeah, I could just do that, does like 50. So I could just fire off another one and kill that off, and now his fighting resist is non-existent, so that's really good. So I could just go for that, switch out, yeah, switch out. I don't really care about how low or high this thing is now, as I could just fire off a Heavy Slam as it's really free, as he goes hard to Mega Lob. I could just Heavy Slam to kill this thing off, as he actually does go for the Drain Punch, and he managed to like that was like mid-max roll, I don't know, like 50 to 56, but he does manage to live on a sliver, so I'm just going to go into my Uxie, because I don't want Sela being more weakened than this. Uxie's pretty useless at this point, so I can just be fine with keeping this low, well, having this low, so I can just kill off the Mega Lop. He's going to go into the Golem here, and actually revealed to be Scarfed, as he's just going to go for the Stone Edge, and he already revealed to be like adamant max attack, so, and like he'd need like max speed Jolly to outspeed my min speed Uxie, so pretty much he does reveal to be Scarfed there, so that's really important. So I'm just going to go into the Terrakion then, gonna just close combat. I outspeed him because Scarf Golem doesn't outspeed like near max speed Terrak. So I can do that, then I can just finish him off with the Lickitung. We'll finish off the Lickitung, so yeah, that is going to be a good game to Cloud Envy. Definitely recommend that you guys check him out. His link will be down below in the description below, as well as all of the other minors coaches and the NPL fan Discord server thing will also be linked down below in the description as well. So we are starting off 2-0. Hopefully we can keep up the winning streak, but yeah, it's going to be all. I'll be back for next week. So yeah, peace.